Welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. On today's episode, we get into relationship challenges. We were inspired by a topic shared by our producer, Dee, about whether or not people are less satisfied in their relationships if one doesn't like to socialize the same as the other. From there, we talk about the concepts of opposites attract. Do they or don't they? How does it work in theory? Or how does it work for us in our existing or past relationships? How would we feel if we were with someone exactly like us? Ooh, that might not go so well. Are we introverts or extroverts? Is Brian an empath? We talk about touch sensitivity and can men have PMS? And what about values? What makes or breaks a relationship if those aren't in sync? This is a big subject that we could talk about for so much longer, but stay tuned as we just scratch the surface today. Welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. It's me, Tess, and Monica, and Brian.
Hi!
On today's episode, we decided to tackle the subject of relationship challenges. We thought we might talk about why opposites attract, the positives and negatives of being with somebody opposite versus somebody like you. We might talk about what values you need to align on in order to be compatible, or what'll make or break the relationships. Or what if you have, like, your mate likes to do stuff you don't like to do? And we're going to see where this goes. And of course, we want to start off the episode if there's any Furley board moments. We introduced the Furley board in the last episode. So we're thinking if you heard anything during the week that would go on the Furley board, now would be the time to share it.
Yeah, I heard one today, but I can't remember. It was something about something going in his ass. Like, but that's all I can remember.
Subtle.
I will try my best from now on to try to pick stuff for the Furley board. The problem with me is that I very rarely take things sexually.
Exactly.
So people could be saying something that sounds sexual and I'm just completely like, oh yeah, okay, I take it literally. So
Furley board. Monica just said, I take it literally.
Yeah, I know.
Furley board.
You know how when you get like a certain kind of car and then you see a bunch of them on the road?
Yeah.
You might start becoming aware if we're talking about this regularly. You never know.
Yeah, I've never been that way. I mean, something is like blatantly sexual. Of course, I get it.
Yeah. I only have one. The one that I have this week was I was going through some pictures with Rachel about my weight loss days 6 years ago. And I had found a picture of me on the beach standing inside a hole that I had dug. Because I was just like, I don't know, I was in shape. I was more physical. And I dug this big hole at the beach, something I used to like to do when I was a kid. And the one thing I said to her was, I put a lot of work in on that hole. She looked at me right away. We all looked at each other right away.
Yes, you did.
All right. This topic was kind of inspired by something Demetrius shared with us during this last week. I love that you throw these questions out, Demetrius, because it gets us thinking. But it said that people were less satisfied with their marriage or their partner when their partner is not interested in social interactions. And it kind of started a little bitty conversation between us, but it was a kind of a good thing to think about. Does anybody want to talk about that specifically as a jumping off topic?
Yeah, because I responded to that email saying, M probably can't stand me then because I don't want to ever do anything she wants to do. Because everything she wants to do is gauged around a 6-year-old. So do you want to go roller skating? Do you want to go, to the jump trampoline park? All these things that, like, I'm going to break a back doing. I don't heal that quick anymore.
Is that really based, though? That's based on life circumstances more than it's based on who you are as people, right?
No, we're completely opposites. We could not be more opposite if you tried. There's literally nothing. I tell her all the time, I love horror movies. She hates horror movies. I like to gamble.
Gambling.
Yep, she hates to gamble.
Yep, she hates
I love
gambling.
to have a glass of wine. I like to drink. She doesn't drink. She is the exact opposite. She's a liberal. I am not. So it's like...
Well, let's talk about the opposites attract thing then, because that really fits right into that conversation of opposites attract. Does anybody have a theory on that?
I don't want to ever date me. I don't like me sometimes. Like, I really don't like me a lot of times. I'm like, oh my God, why would you even be with me? I'm a pain in the ass. If I had to date me, it would not be good. Nothing would get done. We would never go anywhere, or we would go our separate ways. It would just never be fun. Would you date you, Monica?
Myself?
Yeah. Would you date you?
Probably not. I'm very distant, a little bit detached. Probably why I'm still single. And I think that would drive me crazy if like I'm detached and the other person is detached. That would be bad. It's like how would we make time for each other?
Yeah.
But I don't like the complete opposite either. I do not like clingy.
Oh, yeah.
So it has to be somewhere like opposite, but not like, a little closer to me than too far away from me.
I don't mind clingy.
But there are certain things that I don't like opposite. I try to be a kind person. I'm not always kind. I'm not always the nicest person. But if I find somebody who's an asshole, that's the opposite of me. No, I'm sorry. No.
Well,
that's true.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about opposite qualities, not necessarily that they're a bad
But-
person or a negative
But
person.
I do
right?
think that it's important that even though you have opposite interests, maybe if you just have one thing that you can do together, that you can enjoy together, it does help. Just one. It doesn't have to be everything.
When we talk about opposites, we talk about things you like to do. We talk about personalities. We talk about like communication styles. Like it's a big subject, right?
It is.
So,
yeah, because like a quiet person with a happy person, right? Or a somber person.
That's
with a
why
happy
that's
person,
that's
right?
what works. You're right, because that's the part that works for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very she told me yesterday, I'm an enigma or wrapped in a something. I forgot what we talked about. It was funny. But anyway, like, because I'm like almost like I'm an extrovert, but if you saw me around the house, I look like an introvert. Like I like it quiet. I don't like people coming over. Like, like her friend, she always wants to invite her friends over. So I'm like, no, do it when I'm not home. I just told her I don't really have anything in common with your friends, so I don't really want to be around them. But I think the thing that works is because she lets me be me. She just lets me talk whenever I want, say whatever I want. We went to one of her friends' houses one time, and I told you she's friends with a whole shit ton of liberals. Okay. And one of the guys, and I'm not a Trumpy at all.
Monica laughs every time you say that.
Yeah, because I'm not a Trumpy.
Sorry.
But the guy, everybody's having a good time at this party and everything. And some guy yells out, "Oh, look at the ass on TV." It was like a donkey. "Oh, there's Trump." It was just something that just didn't need to be said at the party and everything. And so then her pastor at the church she goes to, her church, I call it the church, but with quote signs, said something to me, and I said, she says, "I am Pastor Linda," or whatever her name was. She was like, "I just wanted to introduce myself." I said, "Oh, you're the lady I always make fun of."
Oh, shoot. You said
Oh
that.
my goodness, Brian.
Why am I surprised?
Because the comment that guy made angered me so much that I'm like, this is how they all think. Okay, yes, Donald Trump has his problems, right? I get it. But
It happens the opposite way too. You know that.
No,
that if
not
you
in my
go
world, it don't.
You know that if you go into a room full of conservatives, they're going to be making fun of Biden.
I don't. No. I don't care. I'll vote Democrat. I'll vote Republican. I'll vote for the right person.
No,
I don't care.
That's not the point. I'm just saying that it's not just.
There's extremists on both
There's
sides. I'm
extremists on
100%
both
agreement.
sides. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I was
get
trying to
that, but that's what frustrated me. But this is why I don't like hanging out with her friends. Because this is what they all talk like. They're extreme.
That's fair enough.
And I'm not extreme.
You want to get away from the politics.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely.
I get it. Yeah.
And her and I don't even talk about politics. Because she's an extreme left and I'm just a moderate right. So I don't want to get into it. I don't want to dive into it.
Well, you guys are proving that people on different spectrums of the political scale can be together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an opposite.
You
That's
totally
a big opposite.
can. You
Yep.
totally can.
Because there are certain values that you have to have, or not have to, but make it easier or harder to be in a relationship with somebody if those values don't match. I don't know that I'd put politics in a value category, but it's a big category.
It is.
So,
But I always tell her, I joke around. Last thing I'll say about politics, I tell her, I'll say, every time we go to vote now, when we voted once, but if we go to vote now, I said, "Okay, I'm going to put my cancel your vote in."
jeez. Goodness. Oh.
So what do you think, Tess?
Well,
what about you?
okay.
How did your marriage last this long? Are you guys compatible? Are you opposites? What are you?
I would say that we're more different than alike. But we, when it comes to values, we have a lot of the same values.
Mm-hmm.
We are very much alike in our spiritual beliefs. We're very different people. We think very different. We communicate very different. Our personalities are very different. What we're good at and bad at are very opposing. And in some ways, that really complements each other in some ways. But it was funny because I was thinking about this because recently I was thinking, gosh, I've never really dated anyone like me. Like, I always seem to be dating people that are not like me. And I wonder, like, because sometimes when I get so frustrated and we'd fight over stuff, I'd be like, oh, why do people say opposites attract? I would get really frustrated about that. And Tim would be like, because we balance each other out. And he'd be all the voice of reason.
Do you think that when people started that, though, they meant physically, like opposites attract? Do you find that...
Like what, male, female?
No. Just like, dark hair, light hair, right? Like blonde hair, blue eyes compared to... Yeah. That's what I always thought it was. No?
No, I always thought it was the personalities. Because I always think people are attracted to people,
balance each
to
other
a person, out. Physically attracted. Most people are attracted to somebody who looks like them. And I'm not saying race in terms of race. I'm talking about the facial features.
I agree with you.
Like, I've seen interracial couples where even though they're obviously a different race, their face structure is very similar. And they're a happy marriage. So I do feel that sometimes people are attracted, like just naturally attracted to people who resemble them.
I completely agree with that.
Not all the time, but I have seen that a lot. And I've seen couples that look alike are usually the best couples.
Yeah, it's crazy because I kind of believe that.
Mm-hmm. We need a psychologist to pick that one apart.
My buddy used to say, like, I like dark hair, dark eyes, right? But on my whole life, I dated blonde hair, blue eyes. My wife was blonde hair, blue eyes, right? But my buddy used to tell me all the time, your kryptonite is the people that are like you. Your dark hair, your dark eyes. Because I'm dark. Well, I was dark hair and dark eyes. But that's what I find myself attracted to now. So he used to say that's your kryptonite. People that look like you, Monica, like you're the person that resembles you is your kryptonite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like similar eye structure.
I've never heard that before.
Similar, just a facial structure. I think there's a reason why people always say, like, as couples get older, they start looking alike. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't, yes, I have seen couples that look completely different, and I'm not saying they're a bad couple or not a happy couple, but for the most part, what I have observed is the happier the couple, the more they look alike.
Yeah, you'll see in a couple years, Tessa's going to be up on stage singing for the band with the hat on. No one's going to tell the difference.
It's funny because that one time that you and Tim were on, the last time you and Tim were on, it was funny because you guys were fixing the volume. And I remember I said to you guys look good together. Because you don't look exactly alike, but you do have kind of like a similar...
Yes, they have a lot of similarities. Pretty soon she's going to start looking like Rachel.
But you and Tim look not alike, just you have a similar look.
Stylistically?
No, I agree with you, Monica. Yeah, the facial structure, the hair, right? Like he's got the longer hair.
The way your eyes are set, the way your eyes are set a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I said to you guys look good together because you guys just matched.
So sorry, Tess. I completely interrupted you. I jumped off to what's
I'm sorry. We did. We both did.
Yeah.
We kind of.
Because I said, what's the opposite attracts mean? Is it looks or is it personality? So, but you were telling us how you and Tim.
I just feel like sometimes I'm curious what it'd be like where you don't have to struggle with certain things like communication. Because if somebody thought like you would be able to finish each other's sentences, or you wouldn't struggle with certain things. But by the same token, I look up to him for the things he has that I don't. And he looks up to me for the things that I have that he doesn't. And we teach each other.
Yeah.
So I think,
that's how Em and I are too.
There's equal parts frustration. Yeah. There's equal parts frustration and appreciation, mm-hmm. But there's times where I'd be like, oh, this would be so much easier if my partner spoke my language,
Yeah.
So I think it's.
But then you wouldn't argue and have really great makeup sex.
Well.
Speaking of which.
Yeah. No, I don't have a comment on that because I was just sitting there thinking we don't have makeup sex when we argue. That's not a strength of ours.
Oh, all right.
We do cuddle, we get very cuddly with each other, but we don't. That's not when we have sex.
That's fair.
Yeah, we can't seem to have sex if we're not good, which is unfortunate because things have to be good.
I agree.
I have to agree with that, Tess. I don't like having sex with somebody I'm not good with.
Makeup sex is when things are. It's when things have been gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, makeup sex would happen immediately. But now that I'm older, makeup sex, like you said, Monica, makeup sex takes a little bit of time now. You got to literally get over it now.
Yes.
Yes. But see, the difference for me is I'm usually over things in 3 minutes. I'll say my piece.
Once you've get them out.
Yes, I blow up, I say my piece, and then 3 minutes later, it's like, well, what do you want for dinner? And like, wait a minute. I need time to think about it.
But not everybody's like that.
Yes, that's what she tells me. I need a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just need a minute too. I need a minute too, just differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also whether you're a night person or a morning person, you know, like that's always hard on couples. And it's funny because I was talking to Rachel about all these things that she has in common with Tim. And she's like, I think you and I have a lot in common. And I'm like, really? Because I couldn't really see it. I was like seeing more that how much more they had in common. I could list a whole bunch of things that they had in common. But I was like, I mean, there were certain things I could list between her and I, but I just like struggled with that, of figuring that out.
Do you think that maybe you struggled with it because you weren't really looking for it? You were like a little bit like kind of like, no, that's not, you know, because it would almost like compare to what you have with your husband.
No.
Maybe there was no.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so, because
who knows what the back of our minds think,
subconsciously,
right? Or
sure,
subconsciously,
absolutely,
so,
yeah.
So
but it was
like
funny because the conversation came up because I was like, wow, I keep finding people that are not like me, you know, like I just thought it was interesting, and I thought I probably would get really impatient if I dated somebody that was like me, probably.
Well, you're an introvert, right? You consider yourself an introvert.
I actually do, yeah. Like I'm only comfortable when I know people. I don't like going into crowds of people I don't know, and I'm pretty quiet until I know people. Like if I walk into an elevator, I'm not the first one to speak. If someone speaks to me, I'll be very nice. But and I need home time alone. Like I get, if I'm out too much or too busy, I need that time. So I am an introvert.
And Monica, you're an introvert.
I'm an introvert, extrovert. I'm like Tess. Like I don't open up to people just, random people and start talking about personal stuff or things like that. But I will be friendly to people. I will but I'll just be friendly. Like, hey, hi. The weather's great, but not like Brian. You were definitely the extrovert. You'll start talking to somebody in the line at the supermarket and start a whole conversation about everything that's going on. I can't do that. Yeah.
So we were at the diner today for lunch, and there was a guy sitting in the booth behind my buddy. Okay. And he says to the server, I'm not as young as I used to be. He's like 42 years old, saying I'm not as young as I used to be. My eyes are bigger. He goes, now I'm like, I used to be able to eat this whole thing. He goes, and now I'm like, oh man, can I get a to-go box? And I go, I hear you, brother. I feel the same way.
That's funny.
I start conversation with the guy in the booth behind him.
But not only will you talk to anybody, you'll give shit to people you don't know.
Yes, I don't do that.
And I'm like, I could never do that.
Brian does.
I remember we were sitting waiting for breakfast, and we met that family, remember? Yes, and you were like, you were giving the girl a hard time. Like, I don't even remember what it was about, but you were teasing her. Like
all the different bars and the food and everything.
You were
around
just
Reno
you were just giving her a little bit of a hard time. And I just remember thinking, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Brian gives shit to people to work too, at work, and he does not care. Like last week I was in Reno, and I don't remember who he gave shit to. And I'm like, Brian.
Yeah. I don't think any one of our listeners would be surprised to hear this.
Yeah.
Look, I do it like because a lot of people respect that, at least, like they
do.
I'm very real. I do not lie about anything.
No.
That's right.
Like there's nothing I lie about. I just tell you like it is.
That's right.
And you could, but see, the thing is, I don't mind if you do it back.
Right. You take it really
it's okay.
well.
Yes, I take it well. I'm okay with that. And I think that the people like respect that in a sense.
Yeah.
And
essentially one of my favorite things about this podcast is that we can tease each other and everyone takes it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always used to laugh when Brian used to laugh in
too.
New Jersey, and like he did, like let's say there was a person that would come into the office, where we worked, and he did not like that person. Brian is not a hypocrite. If he doesn't like you, you're going to know he does not like you.
Right. That's right.
But Monica, you have to admit though, it takes a lot for me to not like somebody.
Yeah.
Because normally I give everybody the benefit of the doubt up
front. But there are some people that you yourself have said, that the person is a nice person, but you just don't like them. There have been people like that.
Well, I know who you're talking about because we work with that person.
Frenetic.
Yes, exactly.
Are you saying names?
No,
we didn't say names.
I thought that was a name.
who's a very frenetic
Oh, frenetic.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you
she,
said a name.
she looks like somebody has got a plug in her ass and she's like a vibrating like toothbrush. And she talks to you like this.
Oh,
and
like
she's
frantic
talking,
energy?
Yes, it's frantic energy. And I'm like, you need to go. You need to get out of here now.
That's so bad.
right now.
And she's the nicest. She's a sweet person too.
She is.
That was what.
She's so nice. But when she asks for something, it's like, oh, hi, can you make sure you do it? And I really need this. And I really thank you so much. I'm like, you got to go. Drop it off and go. Drop it and go. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll talk to you later. And I look at Monica, I go, that just took 3 days of stress from me. That like, I felt like I've been on a treadmill for 3 days and she was here for 30 seconds.
Right. You're an empath,
Like it
aren't you?
drained me.
Like you must
Yes,
be like
she
an empath.
drains me.
Yeah.
She
An
completely
empath?
drains me.
Yes.
An empath, yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes.
feels other people's energy. Yeah.
Totally.
Or other people's feelings.
And then Em told me the other day that I know we're chopping off topic of like opposites, but she told me like I have this some type of touch sensory disorder because like there's times where like she'll like she'll try to just like rub my arm or something like that. Either I'll fall asleep doing it or it will even the slightest touch feels painful.
Really?
So she says that I have touch sensory problems too.
That's PMS for me.
Maybe it is for me too. I don't know. Sometimes I could act like I got PMS.
Yeah, that does happen where like I'm so touch sensitive at that time.
Yes.
But does that come and go for you? Does that...
No, I think it's pretty much in full-time mode. I think I've always been like that. I just never noticed it.
Yeah.
Because nobody really touches me as much as she does. Like she is like one of those people who just always has to have her hands on me.
Yeah.
And like we'll be laying in bed and she'll just, just lightly caressing like every part of me, like my leg, my arms, my neck. But like there's certain areas I gotta tell her, don't do that. Don't touch that. She's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Are you
I'm
like
sorry.
that, Brian? Do you like to caress somebody?
Yes, I do.
But you don't like it done to you?
I do. It depends on where they're touching me.
Okay.
Like on my arm or, like she was rubbing my feet the other day. I literally fell asleep in like 30 seconds and I did something that was horrible. One of the things I hate the most in my life, but she was rubbing my feet and I passed gas in my sleep and woke me up. And I've never done that. And she was crying. I go, oh my God, did I just chew?
Yeah, that's not your thing.
I was so embarrassed. And she's like, it's okay. I go, no, it's not okay.
Oh my God, Brian.
You were rubbing my feet. You put me to sleep. You did that to me. I blamed
me.
I blamed her.
Sorry, Brian. I'm going to say something you're going to absolutely hate me for.
Oh, go ahead.
Old age.
Probably, Monica. I can't argue that. Well, I was mortified. Oh my God. She's like, hey, it's okay. It's natural. I go, no, because the minute you think it's natural for me to do it, then you're going to start doing it. And then that's going to be a problem.
Oh, Brian.
This is the stuff coupledom is made of right here. Oh, that's hilarious. Do you find that whole touch sensitivity thing? Is it when you're stressed out? Like, do you know when it hits you?
That's a great. I've never noticed it before, to be honest with you. Never noticed it until never noticed the pattern until she was like. It started like she was rubbing around my solar plex area, and when she was just touching me so gently and softly across my ribs and everything, it felt like a truck was on my ribs. Like it felt like I couldn't breathe. And I told her, you got to stop doing that.
That
like,
doesn't sound like that sounds like it sounds energetic or something.
It was weird because it felt like I couldn't breathe. And literally, and I can't emphasize how lightly she was touching me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, I was like, I couldn't get a breath.
Yeah.
And I told her, you got to stop touching that area. Don't touch it anymore. I feel bad because like I get like embarrassed by it, I guess. So
interesting.
When I tell her not to do it, it comes out harshly. I don't mean it harsh, but it's just like, I'm embarrassed by it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
It's weird because when I get it for like female reasons, I can't like handle my jewelry has to come off. Some clothes annoy me. Like if my clothes are touching me a certain way, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling.
Yeah.
I understand. I don't like being tickled. Like I do not like being tickled. I hate it.
No, that's a fast way to make an enemy of me. Yeah.
I don't like anybody touching my neck. So I actually have this thing where I don't like being kissed on my neck.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh, that I like.
I don't.
But I
like that too.
I don't.
But it's,
I really wish that hickeys didn't leave a mark because I love the feeling of someone sucking on my neck.
Really?
But
you hate the
but
mark.
I don't want the mark.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the scarlet letters on my neck is like.
I don't like anybody
50
touching my
years old,
neck.
you're walking
I
around.
get very like I don't know what it is.
At certain times of the month, if Tim goes to touch my nipples, I will swat him like a fly. He knows it too. And he doesn't blame me, which is beautiful. He gets it.
No, it's so funny because I feel the same way. Like we're sitting there watching TV, and sometimes she tries to get me going by touching my nipples. I'm like, no, don't even do it. Stay away. And it's not because I don't want to do it, but they're so sensitive sometimes.
Is
I'm
this
like,
age?
Maybe it's age. Maybe it's my period. I don't know.
That's your half chick, Brian.
I swear,
Exactly.
I really think men sometimes experience periods, or at least the moods, because sometimes he will get grumpy for like no reason at all, and I'm like, what is going on? So I don't know. Who knows? Age. Yeah, let's blame everything on age.
Because I wonder. I wonder
agree.
if men go through like periods where like their testosterone goes down or up.
Yeah, I feel like it. I just got done having this conversation. I said, I feel like my testosterone levels have gone down.
Yeah.
You know, I get a little more weepy about stuff, and you know how bad I weep, Monica.
It is common. But anyway, back to the opposites.
Yeah, getting back. So let's talk a little bit about values, because I don't think we've talked about values that much. Like, what values do you guys think make or break a relationship? Like, what do you have to agree on
If
for it
you're
to work?
monogamous or not.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely think that one.
I'm trying to think, I don't know what kind of values. I think I like the fact that she's there for every one of her friends and family. You know, my thing is, no matter who is in need and who is in trouble, if their car could break down, anything, and that woman is there for everybody equally. I love that about her. You know, I love that she's not going to embarrass me in the crowd. You know, I'm going to embarrass her, but she's not going to embarrass me. You know, I go back to the whole Usher thing, right? What was it, Usher? The lady in the street and a freak in the bed? You know, I like that. I love the idea of that.
Yeah, I used to
So I
know
like
that
her value
saying
where she's so kind to people. She donates her time. You know, she donates money. She just takes care of people.
Yeah, see,
that value
that's
I
a
love.
good point about you, Brian, because we were just talking about how you like to engage with strangers and you don't care about making a scene, like not a bad scene, but you don't care. But
I know what you
don't like a woman who makes a scene.
I know. It sounds so chauvinistic of me. I know,
it's
right?
Traditional.
I don't. Yes, it is. It's horrible. And I hate that I feel that way. You know, but there's something I don't know what it is.
So if
I'm
she
a
did
bad
what you
person.
do, it would embarrass you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Well, that's
I don't
interesting.
mind when she knows somebody. And like when we're in a party, the one thing I love about her is like when we go out, like if she meets all my friends and everything, she engages herself in that. She asks them questions and she's very engaging. She literally, truly wants to know about you.
And
I'm like,
cares
if I
about
ask the
what
question,
other
it's like,
people are
I don't
going
really
through.
care what the answer is. She does. So if I say, how you doing? I'm like, don't care how you're doing.
That's kind of something, I wonder if that runs in our family, because my dad's like that and I'm like that. Like, it's not that I don't care about people. I care about people greatly. But if there's something people are
me
talking
too.
about and I don't care about it, I can't fake it. That's really more where it hits me.
I always say, land the plane.
Yeah. Like, I do that at work sometimes when people are talking too much. I'm like, I don't care about any of this. I don't, yeah, it's bad. I don't like that quality in me.
But that's one of the values I like. What about you, Monica? What kind of values did you like in your guy?
What do you have
That
to
he,
agree
like,
on?
can-
Yeah. What do you?
Well, for me, because I'm a monogamous, I would prefer a monogamous as well. That's an important one. Just be honest. Honesty. That's a big value, right? Be honest about what you want, what we're looking for. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to find a guy that like I get along with and I like to hang out with at this point, which is almost impossible.
The question wasn't really so much about what values you're looking for in somebody. It's like, what values do you think will make or break a couple if they're not in sync?
Oh,
It was really more on that. Like, what do you have to agree on to have a successful relationship? So, like, trust.
Where do you want to live? Trust.
Yeah.
What,
Yes.
Yeah, how much contact you're going to have with extended
Children.
family, money, children.
Children.
Yeah, like that kind of
Money.
stuff is what
How
I
do
was
you
really
spend your
thinking.
money is a big deal.
How you
That's a
handle
big
money
deal.
is a huge
Yeah,
deal.
it's
Yeah.
a huge.
I was at the
breaker.
casino tonight. but I'm not married to her, so I could spend whatever I want.
Right.
So,
right.
And I feel that's a big difference, right? Marriage and dating someone is a completely different thing.
But you're not dating her. You're living with her. You're living with her, Brian. That's not dating.
Dating is when you're not committed.
No, that's not dating, Brian.
It's still dating. Look, if I tell myself it's not dating, then something bad's going to happen. Because when I'm dating someone, I put a shit ton of effort in. When I was married, I put a shit bunch of effort in as other people. So I'm dating.
Okay.
I am dating this woman. I am courting this woman.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we look at it as a commitment, but that's not how you choose to look at it. Huh?
Yeah, and I like that, like a person that like can, is independent.
Yeah.
I love independence.
You don't want to be their life.
That's right. And we had this conversation early on where I said to her, since I moved out here and I had nobody, I mean, we all talked about this. And I said, one day I talked to her, I said, look, I'm going on vacation and I know you can't come with me because I'm getting too used to you in a sense. I'm relying on you too much for everything. And the last time I did that was when I was married and I relied on her for everything. And then when we got divorced, I forgot how to fill out a check.
Yeah.
So I was like, I am never going into that world again. So I need someone that is very independent and can love or at least respect the fact that I am independent.
Yeah.
If I want to go to San Francisco tomorrow, I'm going whether she likes it or not. And she understands that. And the same thing for me. If she needs to go, as long as you take the child with you, you could go wherever you want.
That kind of happens in older relationships anyway, right? If you get together older, I feel like people keep their independence more.
It's because you've learned that the best way to have a good relationship is to let the other partner just be. I mean, you're together and you respect each other and you decide on what kind of relationship you want, right? And then you follow that. But at the same time, you need to just let your partner be who they are. You can't tell your partner, you can't go there. Oh, if I'm not going, you're not going.
Exactly.
Oh, I have that story about Brian. So I told my family members that Brian and I were going to share a room when we went to the cruise together.
Yep.
And I got such a reaction from so many of them. Like, you're going to share a room with a guy? I'm like, yes. But I'm like, we're like brother and sister, really. So there's this, it's safe, right? And they're like, and he has a girlfriend? I go, yes. And he goes, oh, if it was a few of them said, if it was my boyfriend or my man, he wouldn't be allowed to go. And I said to them, I'm like, well, I said, let's say that your boyfriend wants to go to a cruise. You hate cruises, but he really wants to go on this cruise. And he says he's going to go with a friend. You're going to tell him that he can't go? It's up to you. Can't tell your partner what they can't or can't do. I mean, if you don't like it, okay.
A lot of people don't have that memo.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
can't.
Monica.
And
Monica,
force yourself on your partner. That's because if he goes, he's going to do something. It's like, okay, you either trust your partner or you don't. If you think they're going to cheat on you, then why are you with them?
Who suggested that I go with you on this cruise?
It was them.
Exactly.
It was them.
My girl said, I said, do you want to go on a cruise? We're all going on a cruise, blah, blah, blah. We're going in November. She's like, that's my busy season, and the kid's still in school. And she's like, well, why don't you ask Monica? Mm-hmm. Then boom, it just came right out of her mouth. And I was like, shit, yeah, let me ask Monica.
That's awesome.
And I've been to her family functions. I've seen your family. I'm like, the fact that they would say that, like, my family would never in a billion years think anything like that.
Yeah.
It must be a Latina thing.
It is a Latina thing.
Yeah, they're traditional. That's all. I mean,
they're
it's about what appearances, right? It's also about appearances.
And they were totally baffled by my statements where I said, you just let your partner do what they need to do and let them have fun. Your partner's still your partner. And they were just like, well, no.
Yeah.
If he says he's going, he's not going. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. There's still a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that.
I don't get it. I'll never get it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do what you want to do no matter what. Right? Yeah. It doesn't matter. No one's going to stop you from doing anything.
Oh, a lot of people stop a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people stop people. A lot of people let their partner stop them.
If you don't trust your partner, then I don't know. Maybe I
agree.
You don't trust them. You love them enough, but you want them to stay with you. So you force them to, you put blinders on them so they don't do like anything. But I don't know. I know that for me is a value. I do not want to have a partner where I need to be worried what he's going to be doing behind my back. If I feel that I can't trust them, I really don't want to be around them. Why am I going to be stressing myself out that way?
And as you get older, you're set in your ways for the most part. So it's like, if I got to worry about the rent and worry about work and worry about, my health, and I got to worry about something as trivial as if you're going to cheat on me, I can't live like that. That's just, it's
Okay,
just
so
seems
people
so
have to
petty.
have a same feeling about jealousy. They have to have the same feeling about
Yes.
security.
Yes.
Yeah, security is a
Security,
good word.
right.
So I guess if you,
Yep.
you could say that if both partners are the type where they're jealous and they don't want to let the other one do anything else, then they're equul.
They're perfectly
Right.
happy
They're
in their little
Right.
They're
then
meant
it-
for each
bubble.
other.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Yep. You could put the lock on the outside of the
Yeah.
door.
Instead of the inside.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I'm trying to think
sexual
what other
compatibility is
values I like.
important.
I think that is
Right?
very important.
That's not a value, but it's I think sexual compatibility is
It's
really important.
very important.
Yeah.
I think it's important when you're young.
You think so?
I know it sounds crazy because,
But you
yeah,
have to like,
because
you have to like having sex with the person you're with.
I'm not saying that you
Sex
don't like
drive.
having sex.
Right?
Yeah.
Sex, yeah, your sex drive is like, as you get older, we were going back
Well,
to being old again.
It comes and goes, yeah.
It does. It comes and goes. I would rather have someone at this point, not that I don't want to have sex. I don't want anybody to think that, but I love cuddling now. I'm really happy just cuddling. I'm okay with that. So like,
I mean,
sexual
sex drive
compatibility is great.
comes and
but-
goes, but somebody's love of sex or not interested in sex is important. I think that kind of compatibility is important.
Yeah. I mean,
Things will come,
I don't
like
know
it'll
how
come
high
and
the
go
scale
based on
goes.
life experiences.
I don't know how high the scale has to be on a 1 to 10. For me, like, it's like, well, this is not a secret. I've mentioned this in the past. When Em and I first met, we weren't each other's type.
Yeah.
Like, not even close. Like, and I was like, someone I would never have dated, but like the longer I spoke to her and the longer we got together, we were, so talking about this, right? I watched this show on Netflix now called Love is Blind. I've watched there's like 4 seasons of it now. And what it is they have 5 guys on one side, like it's in dorms. And then there's a hallway, and then there's another set of empty rooms. And on the other side is a hallway and another set of dorms for the women. All 12 people basically go in and they don't see the other people. And they try to build a loving relationship before you even see them by basically saying what's on the inside is what counts. Which, old me was like, fuck that. I don't give a shit if you're Mother Teresa.
Oh, jeez.
If you look like an ass, there's no way I would because I know my sex drive, everything goes up if I'm physically attracted to someone. I'll put up with a lot of bullshit in the past because, Monica, you've seen, right? The girls I've dated in the past, I was so highly attracted to them. And look at all the bullshit I put up with because I was physically attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. I have to like the person to be attracted to them.
Me too.
Like I can't.
No,
That's
I just need to be attracted to
That's
them.
that demisexual.
I don't give a shit what they were like, their attitude
That's
was like.
that demisexual term that we talked about a while ago.
Demisexual?
Yeah, the type of person
Ooh, I
you
don't know.
need to know the person or have a connection with the person first to start feeling attracted to them.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. If somebody acts ugly, they look ugly to me. If they act good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the same
true.
for me.
Yeah.
Very
Same
true.
for me.
Yeah.
Same for me. But Brian, you
Yeah.
But I
in
mean,
the
if-
past, you still would have gone out with
But
them.
if Shane Mitchell acted like a fool, I would still have sex
That's what I'm
with her.
saying. You would still.
But that's different
Yeah.
than love. That's different than
I
love.
agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I could kind of pretend that I love him at that point. But right
for a
now,
minute.
because of like M's personality, she is like a 12 with, because her personality is so it took me a short period of time, but as the longer I've been with her and I'm living with her now, I realize that there is absolutely nothing fake about this human being.
That's wonderful.
And it makes her like a 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You
out
know
of
what I mean? So
One
it's
to
like-
10 makes her a 12.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It makes her a 12. That's what I understand. Yes. What's on the inside counts. But when I watch that show, I'm like, I still think in my head, that is the dumbest thing ever. Who would ever do that? But like her and I weren't each other's type. We weren't really attracted to each other so much in the beginning. You know what I mean? And the more we talked, the more we grew, it got better. But at least I got to see her first. It wasn't like one of those things where I didn't see her. We just chatted and all of a sudden, oh, I'm in love with this girl. No, it doesn't work. I don't think it works that way.
There haven't been a high number of people in my life that I started out attracted to. Like people that have a lot of people in my life. I had to connect with them first, and then I found them attractive. Not my husband.
Okay.
I felt like I was attracted to him right off the bat. There are definitely people. My ex-husband, no, I didn't like right off the bat when I met him. I didn't. There's been quite a few people that my feelings grew as I got to know them of attraction.
Right.
But it wasn't like I saw them and I felt that way. That's what I mean. I don't mean that I thought they were unattractive. I just meant that I wasn't like, I just met somebody and they were just like meeting somebody. You know what I mean? It wasn't like,
Fair.
Something I've realized that's happened to me probably my whole life, is that I've realized now that like the men that I've dated or I've wanted to, get involved with, like I liked them at first and there was a point where I really liked them. But then really the more that I got to know them, the less I actually really like genuinely liked them. And I still stuck around because I didn't want to, I was afraid of the breakup, part, or I didn't want to deal with having to find someone else. But I don't think I've ever met somebody that as the more that I get to know them, like somebody I'm dating, like really dating, like boyfriend, that the more that I met them, the more that I liked them. I actually didn't like them after a while and I should have broken it off sooner.
I think knowing you for as long as I've known you, Monica, I feel like sometimes you look for things. I think that you're a seeker in the relationship where you're always like, well, this is a problem. Well,
yeah, but I still stuck with them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I am, but I still stuck around with them. And I realized later I didn't need to stick around with them. Like my ex-boyfriend, I stuck around. Yes, I was a seeker looking for this and that. But I still stuck around until the point where it was like, okay, this cannot go on anymore. Having fights because I'm not available is not a good way to have a relationship.
That's fair. Because I feel like the reason that Em and I work is because I don't look for anything. Mm-hmm. I just let it be.
Genuinely, Brian.
If it rears its ugly head, then I deal with it.
But she doesn't have an ugly head. I mean, she's a genuinely good person. Like
I get it.
I don't see why. I mean, I don't see why you would start hating her because she's such a nice person, right? Yeah.
No. Start hating her.
Like she's giving you so many reasons to grow what you feel for her.
Yeah, I get it. But sometimes maybe you've met somebody in your past where maybe it could have gone a little further. It could have been a little better if you weren't.
So I've either been broken up with or I have had to eventually break it off. And usually the people that I break it off with, it's been after some time. It's not something I do like right away. Even with the guy that I recently was dating, I had signals like 2 or 3 weeks into like talking to him, and I still kept trying.
Who, Brokeback? Not Milkman, Brokeback.
Brokeback, yeah. I still kept trying to talk to him and trying to and then eventually it was just like, okay, I really need to like cut this off, because there were a lot of red flags with him that I should have paid attention to, and I didn't. I was trying to just make it work.
That's fair. Okay.
I think this is an engaging conversation that we could go so much longer on, but unfortunately, I have to be out at a certain time today. But I think it's a cool topic.
I know I jumped off topic a lot,
that's fine.
Yeah, I just don't want my listeners to say, listen, you douchebags better stick to the topic next time.
It'd be nice to hear some feedback. We don't care if it's good or bad. So that's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in as we merely touched on this relationship topic. One thing is for sure, we know how we feel about it and that there's so much more to cover. What are your experiences with relationship compatibility? Are you with your opposite or someone just like you? Does that work for you? We'd love to hear about it. Join us as a guest by emailing us at 2.5chickspod@gmail.com. Also remember, you can find us on Instagram at 2.5chicks. Follow us to keep up on our episodes that are airing. Shout out to Producer D for another successful season as we are winding down on Season 3. And reminder, we are recording Season 4 pretty soon. It is not too late to come chat with this crew. Until the next time, bye.